Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. Today is the 22nd of May 2025. So I will just start with the usual introduction, and then I'll just go on to the topic and keeping my evidence in the moment. And because I know that I'm being intimately glued and cloned to people I haven't given permission to, I will keep my court case in the moment too, in all fairness, because of the seriousness of it historically. And they are, I know that for a fact, that there are everything I'm doing in regards to my court cases is being coded, and globally people are just watching the coding and letting everybody know. So and with that being said, I'm going to keep my evidence in the moment in regards to my court case. It's currently still pending in the courts, and today we'll be talking about the New Zealand Police and IPCA update. Okay, so as we know, we're dealing with unlawful strikes. I have been contesting this since my court case was pending from 2016. It's a real life case of human trafficking in persons, where I'm being glued to the people using me for sports, like a generator, and slowly and surely stealing my energy, my character, and monetary wise also, anything monetary. This also includes sabotaging, interfering in my private relationships. This includes relationships with other men, or them just just animating. It's called animating or inanimating. They're using substitute as like a deviation or like a double. Okay, I wasn't brought up in that kind of culture. It's illegal. I know many rich people, millionaires around the world use substitutes or have maids or slaves or whatever you want to call them, but that is not my culture. Okay, I wasn't brought up in that kind of an environment ever. So I'm all about everything is normal and natural, and anything that's not normal and natural is actually organized crime, and it's not legal. It's actually illegal, even though they try and make it look like they're innocent and doing what, behaving or acting like they're not doing anything. But you just know over a period of time that something's not right about your environment. So basically, you've been micromanaged. So you've been under tight surveillance or being monitored by people you don't know. However, even though those things are happening now without our consent, if you can prove, according to the law, that it has caused you loss, it has caused you a risk to life, or you know that it's caused damage to your property, or you can't advance, or if people are actually secretly stealing, that is definitely 100% a criminal case. And if judgments are being written, that is actually fraud. That's called unlawful strikes, and it's fraud. But what I've gone through historically has definitely been a lockout case after years of illegal scientific experiment, and then it's just basically slowly but surely stealing everything in regards to my personality, my character, monetary wise, going downhill, financially not being able to go forward because the people I'm glued to are in my space 24/7. Okay, I'm not where I am financially today because it's my own will. It's not at all. It's not like that at all. And that's what will prove on my actual personal property, on my profile. The people that are monitoring us have access to everything, our bank accounts. They're watching. They're also unlawfully hacking into our laptops or everything. Okay, and then they're just listening, and it is a global game. Alright guys, so this is what it actually looks like. I like this poster I did myself. Basically, what I put on this, like on most of my posters, is exactly how it is, how I see it as the victim of crimes and what everyone is doing to me. Okay, so these people can just come and sit by you, act normal, but you don't know. You could be actually, they could be actually just part of people twinning you. Okay, what I found trickery and deception about everything I've gone through, they use different people all the time. All right, so I know that they're surveillancing me in my home or wherever I go globally, and I know my phone is hacked and or tagged or whatever. But it has caused me major distress, major loss, damage, risks to life, and there are definitely incidents where they've tried to conspiracy to murder me without getting caught, and that has not stopped, and it will not stop. It will not stop until you get proper legal intervention and finalize everything. So what we're dealing with here is that the opposition does not want to surrender. They do not want to admit defeat, and they do not want to compensate a victim according to the law. So money laundering is definitely involved, because that's very clear in my historical case involving my personal property and myself. So in hindsight, it's actually called indictable offences. Okay, but they've changed the system to actually cater for what I've gone through personally. Right, so it's so dangerous, it can eventually wipe out your bloodline, wipe out any nation, any state, anybody. Even if you're rich and super and have all your money, if you're one of these people who is reliant on your money for everything, it can take you out too. Meaning it can divert and take you out when you don't expect it. Right. So that this is my legal case. I'm just using it as pure evidence of the modern day New World Order human trafficking ring. It is a trafficking ring. They are secretly stealing legally. Secretly, it's like switching and stealing everything. And the legislation, I can now I can actually confirm legally that it's designed to continue what I've gone through on other people. I'm just a survivor of it. Okay, and that's my finding with the legislation. In fact, I was been doing quite a lot of research lately because of my case, and just recently I've just been so distressed because of my own personal finding of how the legislation is actually set out. It's actually definitely set out. I've heard some people say you die trying, and I was like, no, but from personal experience, what I've gone through, yes, I believe that is what the system is set out to do. It's set out to stop, those who've committed perjury, those who've committed very serious violent offences in powerful hierarchy government jobs by breaches. They know it. They use their money. They step down, but they don't. They use their money or the laws to protect their reputation, so then the victims do not know that they're actually a victim of crimes. And what I have found is that they have never stopped personally attacking me. Hence is a reason why I have not stopped contesting what I'm doing in court. All right, guys, it's definitely 100% a global lockout situation. Okay, they've locked me out for a very long time, so I do know all the signs. I'm used to it, but there are days it's just like I'm so over this, but it's like you're trapped. It's like you're in prison. But what I have found is that the personal attacks do not stop. The stalking do not stop. And I know that the police are actually surveillancing us. But I have a reasonable belief that some of them are actually linked to gangs and using gangs to do what they're doing. That is actually still illegal. Okay, that's an invasion of privacy, what they're doing. And that's where I'm at. Whoever is behind what I'm going through, I can actually prove now criminally that the surveillance and the monitoring has caused a great loss on me as an individual, put my life at risk, and definitely there's cases and incidents there of conspiracy to commit murder, okay, culpable manslaughter charges. So I'm keeping the evidence in the moment, and it's been quite horrific for me at times emotionally. I know some of my video clips I've done them out of emotion and stuff, and I try not to get emotional, but it's kind of hard. I'm only human, and when you're reliving incidents, it can get quite emotional because it's real. Okay, so what they've done, many people have used me to get their foot in the door. A lot of members of the public participate because it's just a game to them. Others participate because they think they guarantee, they've been guaranteed not to get into trouble by the law if they do something wrong. So most of the things have happened to me intentionally against my will, whether these people are lying to your face or behaving or acting inappropriate publicly, which is called criminal nuisance. It's all part of the game, all right? And it's not a safe environment at all. Okay, but it is called animated or inanimate in the legislation. I think a lot of you would know what that is by now. But that is my personal experience, what I've gone through. And it's also linked to relationship scams. And people have actually used me to get a foot in the door for everything. And they've just been taking turns. And who is liable? No doubt, no other than our government or whoever is behind the global whatever everyone wants to call it. It is a sport, but I also know that the right people have come in my space because I do feel safer. And just from watching social media, the coding is deceased, is diminishing. It means it tells me that the criminal alliance globally are getting scared, they're getting the message, or they're getting caught out and they're stopping, but they're still there. It's a game, it's all about money, and it's a sport, and a very serious one too at that. Okay, so all this is involved in what I've gone through. The scary thing about the sport is global. Okay, so they can take out your family members one by one without them even knowing it's happening because they're already embedded. Okay, so they can just sit back and just wait for something to happen, and then they'll shift. They'll shift, or they'll attack, or they'll steal, or leave. Somebody's paying them to do something, and that is how they're doing their jobs. They're job hopping. Okay, they're job hopping. I know on top of my head who's been job hopping when I was working for my occupation at court and when I was going through cyber crime. They leave their job, they commit the crime, leave their job, and then they come back. Like the very people that maybe that I've complained about have been punished or whatever, or told to do, something's happened because of the complaints or something like that. But then they've conspired to get rid of me. They've committed offences in between, and then they leave their job because they think they're going to get into trouble or go to prison, or they've participated knowing it's wrong and they've done it. It is a conspiracy. And then they're hired back. So that is what they're doing. That is very serious for anyone and everyone. Okay, so obviously the game involves that, when you're being substitute, I'm apparently the mentally retarded one. And so the person that they're using me is also linked to my court cases, and the substitute is on behalf of the opposing ally. That's actually the competitor, or like in my court cases. So that's how they're winning. They're cheating, they're spying, they're coding, they're doing their sign languages online, asking everybody to help them to help them with their court cases. And so everyone is just going along trying to save people who've actually committed pretty serious crimes. So that's quite a serious thing to do, okay? I have never ever heard anything like it before, working for the government for as long as I have. But when it became a reality, I was like, I can't believe it. But that is the reality of the technology system, meaning no one is safe. They are embedding themselves in your family, and they can turn your wife against you, your husband against you, members of your family against you, just by them, taking money or some kind of perjury. So that is how the game actually entails. They do not care how they win as long as they win. So I'm exposing it, okay? They have no intentions of apologizing. They have no intention of admitting defeat. These people will take these these kind of things to their grave because they have no conscience, okay? But it is called the Jack the Ripper, but it's like a Jack the Ripper system, but it's called Cracker Jack, involving relationship scams. Okay, so but it's a kind of a game that once they get rid of whoever they're using, they'll just move on to the next one, and the game repeats itself. But it's actually very, very, very serious. Okay, so we're dealing with an in the middle, okay, coalition or people making decisions. It's going like, instead of it being private and just dealing with it with an independent judge or whoever is making the final decision, a coalition of people are making a decision about what happens, whether I win or lose. Obviously, I've lost, or legally they've written unlawful strikes, and because of the coalition or the decisions they've made. Quite obviously, they don't want to sign the actual judgment because they know that the person is actually innocent, and but they're signing it on behalf of a group of people who've probably voted or blackballed the person. Okay, so you, in my case, they've just taken advantage of an innocent person who actually is intelligent, and I do know my stuff. I know my my way around the courts legally and around the laws, because of personal experience. It was part of my job most of the years. I've always been one of these people, just very quiet workers, mind my own business and go home. So I was trained by the old school method, so that never really leaves. But I'm so glad I was brought up that way, because it saved my life in so many ways. And so the system now, they're trying to interpret the laws to water down very, very serious money laundering systems, and thieving and stealing, and people wanting to be rich but not in an honest way. Today I went to lodge my originals. Today I'll be talking about New Zealand Police, right? As we know it, New Zealand Police, I've actually lodged, really the case is a criminal case, but it's been illegally pending in the civil jurisdiction. It's a left behind case, right? So they've always had the upper hand, and they've treated me, like I'm not important or anything, even though, I know that what I submit is actual, really, top-notch work, legal documents. And I just I'm a woman of my word. I'm a woman of integrity. Okay, I'm not blowing my own whistle. It's just the mindset. That is what is the court. That's the kind of training I was brought up with when I was being trained working for the courts. Okay, integrity is actually a foundation of the courts or any government back in the days. Okay, so in recent times, I know that I've put a video clip up, and I've showed everyone the judgment of Judge Sussex, and she's also sent out 3 other minutes in between. Then I've been busy with other courts, with other cases at the same time. So I've been working day and night. But I feel what they're all doing to me is intentional. It's intentional manslaughter. Okay, they're putting all this pressure. I'm doing all this work only for it to get sabotage, and they're actually stealing. okay, which is not on. So I'm going to keep my court case in the moment. I don't want to embarrass them, but I don't care. Why should I care? They've put me through so much. It's not funny. So I have put some minutes through to the judge. There is a lot in her judgment that I'm appealing. I have actually asked her to release my transcript for the hearing, and she declined it in one of these minutes. But her reasoning for declining it, I have still sent her lawyers to support why I want it for. Okay, but we've got to keep in mind this is the civil jurisdiction, so the criminal jurisdiction is completely different, and those from the criminal jurisdiction will think like me, know exactly what I'm talking about. The case doesn't belong in the civil anyway. Okay, and the things that the councils are putting out is actually fraud. I mean, some of the things I'm reading, I'm like, are you guys even reading the case or reading anything, or you're just making up your own things? Okay, if you can, you can hear by the tone of my voice, I'm fed up, and rightly so, because I'm trying to go forward in my life, and I don't appreciate being used for money laundering or for a human generator to make money for other people. But the judge, I went in there today with supporting evidence, basically the evidence I showed today on that I scanned, and in response to the judge's judgment, I have notified them that I'm currently working on stuff for the criminal jurisdiction, but my intention is to ask the criminal judge to actually bring everything to criminal, and then I'm just going with the flow. In the meantime, I've given them sufficient evidence to prove that the courts have, it's the court's fault why the judge has made the judgment that she has, whatever reason it is. Okay, when we stand before the laws for things we do wrong, we stand before the laws ourselves, not as a group. So that's why everyone's got to remember, you can do things as a group, but you'll be judged as an individual. You'll also be judged as an individual before God if you believe in God. So the judge has sent out all this 1 month on top of everything else I'm going through personally. I suffer from high blood pressure, okay? From my perspective, what they're doing to me is intentional. This is the kind of thing I've gone through, where I've did all this hard work, doing all these good things, and I know without a shadow of doubt it should pass and go through smoothly, knowing the courts like I do, only for it to be sabotage, and then to get the result, it's been kind of real soul destroying, okay? But there's a habit there. There's a consistency of cruelty of what they're doing to me. I mean, it's a bully tactic. That's how I see it. But yeah, that's from a victim's personal experience. It's a hate alliance, and it's linked to the substitute. Okay, it shouldn't be happening, but this is my personal experience. The other danger about it is that you can cause stress enough to cause a heart attack. I suffer from high blood pressure. My opposition knows it. They've attacked me personally, knowing I have had a high blood pressure. I have felt at times that what they're doing has been for that purpose. Okay, so basically I've gone through a demolition of a human being, and that is what it shows on my personal property by secret alliances globally. How the heck did I make it out this far? I don't know. I just have to say that's just God. But anyway, I'm going to go with it. But it is a conspiracy, and everyone, the innocent people, are the actual original in my personal space. So this is how it is, all right? So they have not, the opposing allies have never left me. they are in my space. They're coding and letting everybody know. It's a clear case of an individual being secretly targeted globally. Okay, there's a lot of money involved, people's reputation involved, obviously my court cases are worth a lot of money, but it is also like a Ponzi scam linking to the crown, people, hierarchy, globally, government. So I'm going to keep my court case in the moment, for the sake of everyone who wants to know the truth, and also to help everybody else be aware of what this actual game entails. So I'll just go with it. Okay, I'm picking up. I mean, they're very good at picking up my mistakes. Okay, so here are some of the things I'm picking up that's very wrong with what I found. Okay, I'm submitting legit stuff, legal stuff. I know that my work, I spend hours working. Okay, hours and hours working, days and nights, even months working on my stuff for it to only get sabotage. Okay, it doesn't go past. They've now got the hub desk. We don't know who's behind the hub desk. It's a global thing, okay? The court's been centralized. So my case clearly shows I've been blocked out. Can you hear that? That's them slamming the door, letting me know they're pissed off. But that's psychological abuse, okay? They're just letting me know. What I had actually showed the judge, okay, because a lot of, if you go look on judge's judgment, she's written why, blah, blah, blah. But in one of my minutes, I actually put in there that there are actually several case officers just for the New Zealand Police and IPCA. Okay, so this is after me telling Sharik Ali, who was the first person that was the case officer. I asked him that all the cases needed to ride together. There's nothing in the legislation that actually gives him the permission to split my case up like he has. Okay. The other thing I found out that was very wrong, the way they were managing my file, is when I went in to have a look at my file, because I'm allowed to, okay, it's my case, so I'm allowed to have a look at my documents, and I do that quite consistently to check the documents, make sure nothing's missing before it goes to the judge. So what I have found during this time is that it's either the deputy registrars or somebody is retyping everything and giving it to the judge. So the old system is the judge will get all the documents. This system, they've left out documents. They're deciding which documents should go before the judge. This is the court registrars, okay? Or the deputy registrars or the case officers. They are deciding which file, which documents goes before a judge. The files that he has carried around, or I've seen, in the file, when I've gone and looked at my files, is I assume it's the file that they give to the judge. It gives me the indication that the judge has not even read any of my documents. Okay? And this is the New World Order civil jurisdiction. That's illegal. That's 100%. Well, this also explains the unlawful strikes and the judgments. You can quite clearly tell that they've already made a decision that, that they're going to be in favour trading in influence, which is 7 years imprisonment, if I recall rightly. That they've already made a decision who is, they're going to be with. That's not fair. And it's not only that. The Crown, their clients are paying them lots of money to win a case, but they're cheating. And they're making money out of an innocent civilian. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my liberty. I'm putting up with public scrutiny every single day psychologically, having issues with people hacking into my laptop, my phone, You name it, I turn my back. They're into everything. I feel so violated. It's a violation of human rights, you name it. But that is what they're doing to me personally, okay? So I put in a memo to let the judge know of how many case officers just for New Zealand Police. So hang on, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is not even including others. There are others. They've used different people all the time. That is illegal. Okay, others have left, and I've had a suspicion they've left because maybe they've committed perjury, or they know that, it's part of the giving the file to somebody new to help the Crown win. That's wrong. Okay, that's wrong. But that's my personal experience of what I've gone, and they've had different judges for every single, I don't know, I think it was about 19 judges that I've dealt with in my one whole profile to do with my personal property. I actually have a reason to believe it's more than that in total. I haven't had time to actually write down every single judge that's dealt with my case. But this is my personal experience, and then judge left she did not write the case, the judgment, until 6 months later. That's even too long. Okay, that's illegal too. All right, the other thing I have discovered also is, high court cases are high profile cases. Their job title, I don't know if, for those that don't know, the job titles change, okay? But according to the legislation, a case officer should be someone that has actually got their deputy powers. So when they write court registry officer here, that is part of the description, but doesn't mean that they're actually deputy registrar powers. The legislation clearly says who are the people that are supposed to be case managing. Okay, so that she's put here, I'm using this as an example. They're all trading in influence. They all hate my cats, but emotions and that do not come into it. When you get audited for breaking the law, sabotaging somebody's case, you won't be charged because you stood by somebody else that's done wrong. You'll be charged because you broke the law. Okay, so what they've done is she's a court registry officer. Okay, they're supposed to put their title. Okay. Sorry, but government jobs is the taxpayers' money's public welfare, issue here. That's why we have a government force for public welfare and also for internal, for protection for everybody else. Okay, so integrity is meant to flow outside and inside evenly, not one over the other, if you know what I'm saying. So a court registry officer is a title that they created when the Ministry of Justice came up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually got their deputy registrar powers. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually a case officer. A case officer is the only person that can actually case manage anybody's personal property like mine. Okay, any high profile cases. Okay, so I don't know whether this person is brand new and this is her court registry officer. It does not mean that she's a deputy registrar or a case officer. So it's within my right to find out whether she is a case officer or a deputy registrar. But the courts are hanging up on me. They're not responding to any of my emails. They ignore everything. They deliberately lock me out, and everyone in government has followed suit, and so that's what they've done to me, and that's illegal. But for everyone that's watching and should know how the court runs, the laws have not changed as far as that's concerned. Okay, just hang on a moment. Okay, so it's a global game. So if it's a global game, it means they've got a mainstream just for people that's been used like myself for their relationship scam, money laundering. But let me just show you something. I mean, it's not good, okay? It means none of the laws, what I've gone through, you will go through, okay? So, here we go. So for those that don't know how to read the legislation, there's a reason why a judge gets imprisonment for corruption for 14 years, okay? Like unlawful strikes is fraud, okay? So what usually happens in the audit, or if a judge gets charged for conspiracy, because now clearly my case is a conspiracy case. I'm the victim of crimes, and so what will happen is the judges can be charged for conspiracy crimes, and the court registrar. See, it says right here, judiciary. They're titled as judiciary officer, so they are a registrar or a deputy registrar. And if they have conspired, obviously, to sabotage my case and do what they've done, or sabotage the judge, it's 7 years imprisonment. I used to be a court registrar, guys, for indictable charges at the High Court, murder cases, you name it, all the high-profile cases. So I took my job very serious. The laws is what I abided to, and I haven't changed. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this new court system, they're making up their own laws, but the things they will be judged by is the law. Okay, that goes for everybody, politicians, everybody, even our prime ministers, everybody in government globally. They've all got laws, and they know a breach is a very serious breach. They know, okay? But these people are the only people that is allowed to case manage our case. Okay, so that hasn't changed, even though they've changed the system. So whoever, like, even though people have left their jobs for whatever reason, that is not my problem that they're making mistakes. So now my case is sufficient enough to press criminal charges for everyone. That is where I'm at with my case at this point of time. Or, if I get a criminal barrister to take over, that is what will happen. They will be charged for conspiracy, for everything. But even though they've got court registry officer, I'm just using this one because this is what I noticed. I'm like, this is terrible. Can you hear that? They're coughing. That's them. This is how close they are. It's a hate alliance. They're doing indirect gestures, sound effects, like it's quite repulsive, cowardice, you name it. It's evil. That is what I'm up against, and that's illegal. And that's why I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to give them the satisfaction to commit suicide, because that ain't going to happen. I'm not going to do that. Okay, but it's really serious. And not only that, the government are also have been inciting, that's why I've started exposing them globally, because I can't believe that they're even doing what they're doing with the relationship scam. That's why I was denouncing all those other women, because they're using me to get a foot in the door like all the other women, putting the originals at risk. As we know, Henry Cavill, he almost, someone tried to murder him, and the same thing with me historically. So that is what I'm up against. I go out, they're waiting out there, and I can't even do anything about it, but I do find it annoying, because according to the law, it's public nuisance. Okay, it's criminal public nuisance if they're just standing there, but they're standing there for a reason. It's part of the game. That's illegal. The police are supposed to come and arrest them and find out why they're even there, but they are not doing that because they're all part of it, and that's not fair. So question that if you're a lawyer or a barrister. Question all that. Be fussy who handles your case. I know lawyers ask questions about everything and everything. I'm the same. Okay. So a court registry officer is meant to be, make sure that they are a deputy registrar or they are a case officer. If you're not happy about somebody handling your case, you can actually ask to remove that person and get another person on. I've had to do that. I've had somebody handle my case who was actually sabotaging my case going back to 2016. And then she goes to the High Court and then she comes on board to case manage me. And I thought, no, I'm not having that. That's not fair. She knows who I am. She sabotaged my case. I never said that. But that's why I actually let the courts know, her manager know, that I wanted a new case officer. She knows who I am, and I didn't want her to handle my case. But I've had the same attitude from everybody, obviously, because it's a global game. I'm no secret. So I'm going to keep everything in the moment for safety-wise and for those that are watching my case. But that's according to the law. Unless this person's got her deputy registrar, she shouldn't be case managing my case. But if they end up getting charged for sabotage and breaking the law, they'll be audited by the law. That's not my problem. But that's kind of the evidence that the Serious Fraud Office would be looking at. Okay, like I just see when I hear those people, because I've complained to the police that somebody here in the apartment I'm staying is actually initiating people to stalk me as I go out the elevator. Okay, that's illegal. All right, it's illegal. That will make this apartment, this corporate body, done for trafficking. For a trafficking person or, invasion, organised crime, that shouldn't be happening. So I've made complaints historically wherever I go. Yeah, I'm a complainer, all right, and why not? I'm entitled to my private life. I'm entitled not to be interfered and, people I don't know listening to me, watching me, following me. I'm entitled to my private life, and people have actually violated everything, okay? But these are the kind of things that the Hate Alliance do when I do go out. That's assault and battery when people do indirect anything, even their indirect coughing or letting you know you smell or doing their indirect body, whatever they want to call it. If they were to be charged, they will be charged equivalent to the same as if it was direct, okay? And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how what it's meant to be. The police is supposed to come and investigate and not tell people to go online or put people on hold or talk to you kindly with no intention of doing anything. So in my case, the police is definitely liable for making someone suffer. I've lost a lot. I haven't been able to go forward. People are secretly stealing and helping the Crown cheat and win using the substitute. So that is what I'm up against, okay? But these are the things that they come out when I'm by myself. It's on television, I'll go sit down. I'm a female on my own. It's so unsafe, right? It is so unsafe. If I didn't know what I know, or, if I wasn't street smart, okay, if I didn't know what I know and stuff like that, know how to make decisions for myself, it's a kind of situation that an innocent civilian can easily just disappear from the face of the earth, and no one will know where she is, and they can just those things happen. Those people has not changed. It's just made it the system has just made it easy for psychopathic murdering and killing by gangs. And the fact that gangs are even involved in what I'm going through, it shouldn't even be happening at all. Shouldn't even be linking to the government or the police, okay? It's not the gang's job to watch over the civilians. That is the police's job. All right, so this is the crackerjack system, all right? and this is involving digging up people. I mean, I wasn't even with my children's father for so many years, because I just cut him off, and I didn't have anything to do with him or anything, but they had used him as part of the game, and as a relationship scam. But this is how it works. These people are digging up people's past, and then they're using people's exes, grooming them, trying to create, a family violence when it's not family violence. My case is definitely not family violence. But the whole idea, whoever's doing the public grooming are people in government, are people in a hierarchy job, whether it's globally. But that is exactly what's happening. What they're doing is they're trying to build a hate alliance to turn somebody away from someone. And the person could be, absolutely innocent, but they don't. Well, obviously, that's what's happened to me, and that's what's happened to Henry Cavill. Okay, but all these things are real. Okay, so we're dealing with relationship scams. Okay, that's exactly what I've been used for historically. Okay, so like I said, I've mentioned this before. As far as determining or ascertaining the degree of the emotional torment or what they've done to me as an individual, it would be second-degree murder, because it's premeditated. Like even just suicidal pact, it's all premeditated. In organised crime, it's very easy to do. All right, so this is the function of the police, guys. The real function of the police is keeping the peace, maintaining public services, law and enforcement, crime prevention, community support and reassurance, national security, participating in policing activities outside New Zealand, emergency management, okay? Not participating in relationship scams, okay, or using your job to, to get yourself a husband, or to do some kind of an illegal commonwealth, whatever you want to call it. That's illegal, okay? But the gangs shouldn't be doing this. The gangs shouldn't be used by the police to watch over a member of the public. That is not their job. That is the police's job, okay? So yes, my case against the police is not over. I will keep everybody up to date, all right, because I need that support, and it is working. So thank you to everyone that is working. I'm just going to take one day at a time. I'm actually putting myself first, my own safety first, my own happiness, or wherever I'm going. I'm not. I have no intentions of doing anything anyone wants me to do or try to force me to do. My whole intention really basically is to finish my case legally, globally, and publicly. Okay. So it is a global game, so it's pretty scary. Even no one is safe. No one in government is safe. But they are privacy started from breaches. Even the fact that people are leaking off anything about me by coding, that's illegal. Okay, that's a breach. So if you get caught, that's a breach. Okay, I'm quite sure the criminal judges and the experienced ones knows exactly where I'm coming from. Okay, but it is a lockout situation. And I am definitely the original, and my case clearly shows that I've been used for conspiracy criminal offences. So yeah, at the moment I'm going through quite a lot on top of what I'm going through. So I'm just taking one day at a time. As I'm okay. I'm okay individually as a person. I just can't wait to just put closure to everything and just go forward. So I will I continue update you all with my court case. My intention is to go through the prosecution. Okay, that's currently in the process, and I've notified the judge in regards to that. I've just got contacted from the IPCA Crown. And basically, the fault clearly falls on the administration of the courts. This is somebody's liberty. Okay, at the end of the day, you'll be charged for the laws and for gross injustice, because there's no justification for it. So I will just leave it at that, and I will keep you guys updated. Other than that, I'm doing okay. I just want to try and put my energy on wherever God is leading me, and I believe finishing my court case is one of them. And I will continue to expose the criminal alliances in my space. It just stresses me out. I suffer from high blood pressure, and to have these people stalking me, following me, letting me know, somebody's going to die, using their black cars, that should not even be happening in New Zealand. Okay. My case did go through to the chief judge, district court judge. He didn't decline it. Okay, he did not decline it, so I know I've already won. I already know. But you would never find a criminal judge or a criminal barrister lie or write anything down that is not wrong, that is not correct. They do everything according to the laws. Like what I'm saying, when I speak, I talk about, whatever I talk about, I know that I'm safe to say it because I know the laws to back me up. Okay, so the criminal barristers or criminal judges are the same. They when they do things, they want to do things that it won't backfire. Unfortunately, in my case, it has backfired because they haven't realized how experienced I am. I think a lot of them do. But what I also feel, it's been a tactic by the experienced, the experienced barrister, knowing I'm experienced, because, I've worked with some of these people. So they're using the system because they know they will lose. Okay, that's how I see it. That's not fair. They send their juniors instead of them coming into the actual court hearing. Or they go and influence and have a word with the judge before the hearing because they know I'm that experienced. So they've had their way. Like they've been allowed to go first. When as far as the court protocol is concerned, the plaintiff always goes first, never the defendant. Okay, so the Crown is the defendant in my case, but I'm talking from a criminal perspective. Okay, so there's a lot of court protocols, a lot of court rules broken in my case. So it doesn't matter if they're changing the system. The thing is the system is not working, and there's a lot of court protocols, a lot of court regulations and rules broken. Okay, broken by their own people. Either they lack training, or they're biased and prejudiced just because they can be, or they have a superior problem. But yeah. Just you shouldn't use your job for the wrong reasons, because it always backfire, always. Okay, then I just would leave it at that, and so I'll keep you guys in tune in the moment. I'll try and be regular as things happen. But thanks to those who are watching over me, I really appreciate it, and hopefully this year we'll get some closure with the court cases. And yeah, okay, thanks everyone, bye.